Hello, shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon. I am the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am sitting here talking with, via Zoom, to someone who looks like a goy, looks like a shiksa, quite honestly, and even has a shiksa-esque name, SARA FARRINGTON. Not only that, if you go to her website to read about her plays and what she's done, it's ladyfarrington.com. My God, it's like I feel like I want to put on a petticoat or something, or a top hat. But no, she has Yiddish background. She really does. Not only that, more importantly, she's written many plays including a Trojan Woman, which is based on Euripides' diseases, Trojan Women, which is a real hoot of a comedy of a play, if you don't know it. But, and this play of hers has toured a lot, and now it's going to be done at the Powerhouse Theater in Vassar, New York. That's happening this weekend, so you have until just Sunday to see it. Please do. Plus, she's got another play that's going to be worked on in October, and she's doing these other things. She's got one being published. Ladies and gentlemen, I should mention even beforehand that the reviews of A Trojan Woman in its previous incarnations the quotes have included harrowing, taut, and you have to be carefully taught. Words on paper cannot begin to describe the effect this play will have on those who see it. I've been told that about my breath. But ladies and gentlemen, won't you kindly welcome to the neighborhood, SARA FARRINGTON. Shalom, Sarah.
Shalom. My grandmother would be so happy that I'm sitting here talking to you.
Yes, she would. I knew her. She would know. No. So your grandmother came from where?
From Poland, and she was the first one born here, but her two older sisters were born in Poland, and they, classic oppressed. It was around 1918, I think, when they came, and then her father came here first, and he landed in the Bronx and became a butcher.
Oh, there you go. This is good.
His name was Moshe Reese.
Can't get me double I like Jacob Reese, or
it was RIJS. Believe it or not.
Oh, that's almost Dutchy sort of thing. There. Yeah. What about the other side of your family?
It couldn't be more different.
Oh,
my dad is a French Canadian, like European, and then his family is actually very like Grapes of Wrath, Dust Bowl-y, and he grew up in California, Central Valley, very John Steinbeck, which my dad very much identifies with. So I couldn't be more like a mutt. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I identify very much with my Jewishness.
Yes, so, but wait, you describe yourself as, quote, an atheist Jew. Yeah. So how do you, I think I know what that means, but how do you define that?
I think for me, I was never bat mitzvahed. I spent a lot of time in temple, a lot. But I found theater, and it became, I have often said theater is like a religious practice to me. The ritual of it, the beauty of it, the magic of it. There is a magic that I align with a very much a religious experience. And that fills that for me. And I know it's hard for people to understand, but it is an art form that is very similar to Judaism, I think, in the rules and the rigor and the beauty. So that's filled it for me. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, you're basically with a bunch of people in a room together that you really don't want to talk to, but you want to experience something. That's Judaism. That's it right there. So,
I agree.
So let me ask you also.
They all have problems and concerns, and they're all very neurotic.
Yes. Well, you don't seem neurotic, are you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. I've evolved out of it. I used to be much more angsty and I was more of that classic stereotype of a theater artist. But now I feel I'm of the Virginia Woolf mindset that, like, in order to produce really beautiful art, you need a room of your own. You need a room, you need food, you need money, you need calm. And so that's what I strive for as an artist now.
Well, it doesn't look like you live in New York City from what I'm seeing there. Where are you that brings you this calm thing?
I'm literally 30 minutes outside Penn Station in a town called Maplewood, New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey. This I understand. Because you're married, you mentioned off the camera thing, to a guy who does the tech for one of the biggest museums in New York. Is this true?
Yes.
So is he an artistic kind, or is it more like pulling wires and cables and plugging this into that?
Well, he's got a double life like me. He's a theater director, and that's how we met in the theater.
I
And
thought the name Reed Farrington sounded familiar beyond, plugging a socket into a thing. So he's done theater tech, or he's also more even on the creative side there.
he's a creative director. He's a director. He directs. He directs my work, and I write for him. So we have a theater company together. But his
All
day
right,
job.
stop right there. Stop right there, please. This I do not understand. You named your theater, live stage, theater, people walking around, acting, putting on clothes. Right. Foxy Films.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, please.
When my husband was my boyfriend, he lived in a loft in Brooklyn, on the corner of Tillery and Flatbush. And it was like 1,000 square foot performance loft that we used for shows and for rehearsing. It was just amazing. Back when you could kind of afford that kind of thing, early 2000s. But on the buzzer for 104, which was our loft, it said Foxy Films. It just was like who was there before.
Oh,
It was just left there. So we thought that was so weird and mysterious. Like, what is that? That we just started taking that name. And now people are like, oh, is it a film company? We just call it Foxy Films. I know it's totally misleading.
it's totally misleading. Also, I hope when you
I know.
when you moved in, you ditched all the furniture that was there because there would have been stains. If I'm thinking Foxy Films, things that go on in there, yeah.
That's how I always positioned it. I was like, well, it was probably like some pornographic movie warehouse. We saged it out. It's probably okay. But we don't live there anymore. We lived there for a very, very long time. When we started having babies, we moved to the suburbs.
So, very important question now. Are you raising the children atheist Jewish?
We do Passover and we do Hanukkah and we do it all. And you know what? I love that side of being Jewish. Like I love Passover. I love the 4 questions. In fact, the Passover question, why is this night different than all other nights, is the theater question. There's no play in the canon where that question couldn't be answered. Every play, Hamlet, why is this day different than other days? Well, Hamlet's dad was just murdered by his brother.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Like every play has the Passover question in it. And so for me to have Passover feels really like a theater event, So I do that with my kids.
And the ritual of all, as you said, the ritual of Judaism has that whole sort of thing of like, there's like, even Passover has 2 acts. Like
Yes.
you read, you eat, you read, you sing songs. That's what it is. And it's making intermission. The eating is the intermission thing. But you seem so lively and fun, albeit neurotic in the background. But how do you then chance upon doing a play or adapting a play like The Trojan Women by Euripides, which is basically just women bitching, if you don't like the word there, like, oh, my child is abducted, I'm dead, they're gonna die, everything's dead, everything's burned down, my husband gone for 90 minutes. Why would you gravitate to that?
I never understood exactly what you said, that the play is nothing happens in it. And literally the play, I could say in one sentence, it's 2 gods, Athena and Poseidon. They open the play. They talk about how little or much they care about humans. And then the rest of it is just the victims of war begging them to care, basically. What have you done? What did we do? Why do we deserve this? Now that I'm saying it out loud, it does feel, maybe I was attracted to it because of being raised Jewish in a way. Like it has that lamenting feel. So anyway, I was attracted to it because I didn't understand, like there's no Greek play in the canon like that. Usually in the Greek plays, like something big happens or something happens either right off stage or sometimes on stage. Like I'm thinking of Oedipus or Electra or Antigone, like something happens. In this particular Greek play, it felt like 3 hours of lamentations. And I was like, I hate this, so I need to figure out what this is. I very much am like that. If I don't understand it, I get curious and I want to understand it. And so I marinated in the Trojan Women. And what I learned I read every translation. I don't read ancient Greek, but I read every translated version. I watched movies and play versions of it. I spent about a year in it. And I realized that the structure of the Trojan Women and why it's so revolutionary is because nothing happens. And it's because Euripides was taking a mirror up to the Athenian government, who, by the way, had just invaded an island called Melos it was the Peloponnesian War. And at Melos, the Athenians went in, peaceful island. They killed all 600 men and they enslaved the women and children. And this had just happened like a week before or something. So Euripides was like, guys, look at this, holding up a mirror. Look what you've done. Look what you've done. The Trojan War, he positioned as a sort of parable to what they had just done. And so for me, it gives me chills that nobody had ever done that to the Athenian government before. And so for me, I feel that was like the first protest play and the first time a playwright or an artist had said, you assholes, look at this. And now we have a long, in the history of theater, there's a long history of artists doing that now. They could be doing it more now, but whatever. But yeah, so that's why I was attracted to it and why it suddenly clicked in for me,
Now, you're an actor, have been an actress. Have you directed? Because it seems that you chose to adapt it rather than do one of the translations or one of the, why is your translation? Here's that question. Why is your translation or your adaptation different from all the other translations and adaptations of the Trojan women?
I'll tell you, I think the one difference I think is that in every translation I sort of was living with, there's this museum-y tone. Like there's a tone where it's like, the Ionian Sea of the blah, 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 blah. And no one in a modern audience really you kind of have to get through that Greek referential stuff, Yeah. I don't understand it. So I sort of set this rule for myself where I was like, I want to update this and I want to make it accessible because it is so important and it is a protest play that I wanted to take all that out. So I really made it contemporary sounding. It really sounds like the way I talk. It has a sort of modern, relaxed, oddly relaxed, casual sound, which is how the gut punch comes in the message,
But is it still set in 415 BC or is it sort of an amorphous, timeless kind of thing?
No, I said it. I actually wrote it. I wrote it. Well, I originally wrote it, the version we're doing now in 2023. So about like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And at that point, the Ukrainian-Russian conflict was like, it's still going on. But at that point, it was like a little younger. And there was a photo that the New York Times put out of a mother. You probably saw it. It was one of the first photos that came out of Ukraine. And it's a mother and her kids dead. And they're at the mouth of a bridge. And the reason why that happened, a New York Times photographer, Lindsay Daddario, took a photo of that. The reason why that photo was so impactful was because they were told that they were safe, that was a pedestrian crossing. And she had them in like a stroller. No, did she have them my play has them in a stroller. I think she was just running. She had a 9-year-old and I think a 17 or 18-year-old. Oh. And they were told they could go that way and get to Kyiv because they were in the suburbs and they were killed. They were, I can't remember, I think it was an explosion that killed them. And they had been seen by the Russians. It was almost arbitrary collateral damage, So I saw that photo and I found it, she was my age. At the time, she was probably 42. I'm 44 now. But I found that to be Greek. That is Greek. That is Greek war, And in the Trojan Woman, my adaptation, I open with a woman crossing a bridge with her kid. And the explosion happens. And in the moment of realization that her kid has been killed, that's where a Trojan woman, it exists in that compressed moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sounds like fun.
Half riot.
Yeah. Now, let me ask how... So you read all these translations and in adapting this piece, how much did you kind of have to go back and back, or did you just sort of use it as a starting point? And the language is different and the everything's almost different. It's just women who are saying, what the hell are you guys doing?
It's oddly, for every translation uses slight variations in language from the original ancient Greek. But oddly, it's very formulaic in that the gods enter, then Hecuba, then she's the queen, right. Then Cassandra, then Andromache, then Andromache's child is taken away and killed. The messenger makes that happen. And then at the end, Helen of Troy comes out, and that's the end of the play. It's almost like an introduction. The Greeks did originally, I'm a Greek theater fanatic, and I'm a Hellenophile, I've been told. But originally...
You're a hell of a Hellenophile, yes.
Yeah. Thespis, the original actor, he used to do this thing where before Thespis, there was a world where all the Greek the chorus more or less, would come out and they would kind of introduce someone, and then that person would go back into the chorus. Thespis did that. He'd come out and say, what was revolutionary about Thespis is he would say, I am Dionysus, or he would say, I am Hecuba. It was the first time anybody had really taken on a persona, which we do now as an actor. So in the Trojan Women, that tradition is still there. The characters come out, they introduce themselves, they talk about how horrible they've been treated, and then they almost retreat back into the chorus. And that was in every version. And the revolutionarily, if that's a word, the chorus that Euripides built, and I think this is the only time this has been done in Greek drama, the chorus are the victims of war. So the chorus, they aren't just messengers of information, and they aren't just singers. They're actually women who have been vanquished in war. And so that was new too. There's a chorus that has a stake in the story. And that was in every translation. So I basically took the structure of every translation, more or less I don't want to call them plot points because there really isn't a plot, but the things that happen in each speech.
The clothesline on which everything is built is the same. Yeah.
Or the string and the pearls were my own. So I kind of built, and again, I don't speak any Greek. So I really had to pull from my own processing machine. I had to put these translations through my own processor to make them come from my voice. So
now, can I ask you, what were your previous involvement with other Greek plays? What did you study them in college? Have you acted in some? I mean, you say you're this Grecophile.
I'm not a scholar and I'm not an expert. I was an actor and I trained in conservatory training. So I acted in a lot of Greek plays. And also I majored in theater. I have my master's degree in playwriting. So you have to kind of, you can't avoid it. You have to know the Greeks,
Where did you get, I don't think they still gave master's degrees in playwriting. Where did you get yours?
I got mine at one of the best, at Brooklyn College, out in Brooklyn, yeah.
Brooklyn, are they still doing that?
Well, it was led by Mac Wellman, he's retired now, but he was a very famous avant-garde playwright. And I desperately loved him and I wanted to train with him. I was waitlisted, which made me crazy. And then I was accepted into his program. So I trained with him. By the time you get to your MFA program, you should know the Greeks already, That's
But can I ask you, because Mac Wellman is a well-known kind of avant-garde-ish player, what was so great about him? What did you learn from him? What was his mentorship to you?
I think the biggest difference between Mac and every other playwright is that what he does is take what you write, and rather than trying to fix it, he tries to see what you're doing. He says, what are you doing here? What weird shit are you doing here? What does your voice sound like? Let's push that forward rather than going, in the third act, you always must have a gun that goes off in the fourth, that kind of thing. So Mac was so what subsequently happens is you'd get unusual, innovative plays that aren't following any rules, That's what I love.
Which can be good. But then when you have that, what is the arbiter then? Is it just the audience? Is it, if anything goes, who decides if what's going is working?
That is a really good question.
Thank you.
There are so many different avenues to answering that. Some playwrights would say, who the fuck cares? I don't care what the audience thinks. I do this for myself. Some playwrights would be like, well, to me, okay, so my philosophy is that even if I'm going to be avant-garde or innovative, I do want to be entertaining because I think the biggest sin is boring.
Yes. Yeah. All my parishioners tell me that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. So I think that twisting story and narrative and flipping rules on their head is important. However, you do have to know the rules. Like if you're going to be Picasso, you have to know how to paint a normal painting too,
Now, well, yeah, or you give Harambe the gorilla a paintbrush, and it looks like de Kooning,
or a 4-year-old kid.
True. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. But yes, or the host of this program, Dave, has come from that background of like, yes, of course you can break the rules once you know what the rules are.
Yes, I'm a big believer in that. I think you really do need to know how story functions, how conflict functions, how a character in a story has to want something, like basics like that, before you can fuck with it. You know what I mean?
Do you teach?
Do I teach?
Yeah, or have you taught?
I used to teach, but it didn't pay me enough money.
Gee, go figure. Go. Wait. You can't tell me that doing with all the theater for 3 nights at Vassar pays you the bit. So where's your bucks coming from? The big. Well, your husband has a great job, but where's
I
your
have
bucks coming from?
I have my other philosophy is I feel that the theater practice, to me, now a lot of people disagree with me. I don't think it should fall in the world of where you need it to survive. If I needed playwriting to survive, I would be dead. There's no world where I could get paid to write plays. Really. I mean, maybe Lin-Manuel Miranda can do it. Tracy Letts can do it. There are playwrights that can do it. I can't do it, nor do I want to. And I don't want to rely on my artistry to be able to pay the bills. So I have had a job. I have a job. I've been an executive assistant for 22 years, basically. So that's what I do. And I do it for different, I keep church and state, so to speak, very separate. Church being theater, state being the bills. But right now, I have an executive assistant job I've had for 11 years. Before that, I had an EA job at a publishing company. Before that, I was hostessing. So I've always had a day job. I feel that that is profoundly important to know what you believe in that realm. Because I think I get a lot of judgment for that. Like sometimes people like, oh, you're 44 and you have a day job. That's kind of sad. And I'm like, no, it isn't. I can write.
No.
Yeah.
It's lucky. It's very
great.
good. But that also brings up the question. You're 44, you have a day job, or even when you were in your early 40s or late 30s, and you have children, right?
Yep.
And a husband and things and a house to. Where do you find the time and energy to sit and write plays?
I work from home.
It's always the executive assistant. Well, even before COVID, or
No,
just since.
well, before COVID, I was sort of hybrid and I used to have to go in, but now I'm 100% at home. And actually, I shouldn't reveal my secrets, but that has made all the difference. Being free with where I am and when I'm doing my work is, I mean, it's actually helped my career enormously since COVID. I'm actually weirdly grateful for COVID in that way because it transformed my day job.
But so here's the deal: you're sitting talking to us in the middle of the afternoon. You're home. You doesn't look like you're doing any work.
Well,
I want to work for your company. Oh,
I'll tell you off the air, but I do work for a big corporation, but I won't tell you which one.
no. Okay, it's a good thing it's not the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, or then you'd be screwed. But
A
anywho,
lot of time. I'd have a lot of time to be writing if I did.
by the way, we're talking, of course, with SARA FARRINGTON here in the neighborhood, reminding you that her play, A Trojan Woman, is going to be at the Powerhouse, or is at the Powerhouse Theater as we speak this weekend. You can find out more at her website, ladyfarrington.com. So, other questions for you? Oh, so please.
Lady Farrington was given to me by Mac Wellman. He started calling me Lady Farrington. So.
Oh, was it because, why, where did he come up with it?
I'm not a lady. I'm not in the traditional sense, but for some reason it's the last, and that I took my husband's last name. I love the Edith Wharton sound of it.
Yeah, it does have that. Yes, yeah.
Well, he heard that.
Her characters don't end well, though, so you probably want to be a little. Yeah.
Not at all. She's my favorite. Yes, different conversation.
Great, right? Let me ask you. You've had workshop or plays, worked on plays at the Eugene O'Neill Center, right? Do you have any memories of that? Of just being there in Waterford?
Yes, I have all the memory. Well, I was there. I was a student at the O'Neill Center, the National Theater Institute, the Eugene O'Neill Center in Waterford, Connecticut, which is around the corner from Eugene O'Neill's childhood home, where a lot of his trauma happened. But I was there, and then a few days went by, and then September 11th happened. And so a lot of the kids went home, but a lot of the kids stayed. And then a few days after that, we went to London to study with the Royal Shakespeare Company as actor. I was there as an actor. And so I remember it because it was such an emotionally heightened time. I had no idea what was going on. Suddenly we're in this, the world has changed, but we're in this really rigorous acting program. Oh my God, it was so emotionally fraught. Every single day was emotionally fraught, So from that, we did a lot of great work. Like we did a lot of, I remember we did a lot of Chekhov. I remember we did Uncle Vanya, which was so, we did a lot of, I don't know if you know Gorky, The Lower Depths. We did Godot too. We did scene work so every Wednesday we would do a new, basically production from one of those plays we were assigned. And the whole point of the O'Neill was it's theater boot camp. You cannot say no. It is Monday through Sunday. I mean, I think we had a few hours off. It was all day long, all theater, all the time. We did Russian movement. We did directing, of course, directing, playwriting. Oh my God, we did African dance. We did everything. It's enough to drive you insane anyway, but the world around us had changed so drastically. So it shaped me as a human being. And the biggest thing I think it shaped me as a human being is I can do anything. I really feel like artistically I can do anything. And that's from my training at the O'Neill.
So can I ask you, of all the roles that you have played as an actress, whether in conservatory or elsewhere, what's your favorite?
I can tell you that right away. I was in a production of Mother Courage, Brecht's Mother Courage, and her daughter is a mute. She's not deaf. She just chooses to be mute girl named Katrin. And I was on stage for this 3-hour production of Mother Courage. It ran for a long time, and I didn't have a single line. And for some reason, that was very liberating. And I think that was my favorite role. I just remember, and she's a big part. She's with Mother Courage the entire time.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, she climbs to the top of the stage and she has to warn people that the enemy is coming. So I was given this like tambourine drum thing, and I climbed to the top of the stage and I beat that drum every night, just feverishly beat the drum. I was only 24 at the time. And I remember that being such a powerful acting opportunity for me.
Yeah, because the monologue did not go well. The monologue was...
It just could, I couldn't, well, actually, I did a lot of that gesticular stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't very good, actually. I was relying very much on my charm. I didn't really use, but because I didn't have any lines, it came off really well at the time.
Well, you're supposed to be a young kid, banging the drum.
Yeah.
So let me also ask, though, in terms of, you're a playwright, not a director per se, but you've interviewed a whole bunch of very well-known theatrical directors. You put a book out called The Lost Conversation. So what did you glean? You tell some of the folks that you talked to, and what were some of the things that you most remember from what they told you?
It was so awesome. And it was during COVID when all these famous legendary downtown theater artists had nothing going on and nothing to do. So me, who am I? I was like, will you talk to me? They're like, well, I guess I'll talk to you. And they were very honest. And mostly what I asked these artists was how did you do it? I talked to Andre Gregory from My Dinner with Andre. I talked to Robert Wilson, Bill T. Jones, Joanne Akalitis, David Henry Huang, Lola Pashalinsky, Jennifer Tipton, all these downtown, David Van Tighem, who I'm working with now, all these downtown artists who had a very different ideology than we have now. They just did it to do it. I mean, that's a lot of what I got from it. The other thing I got from it is I think the biggest thing I got from it is that's different from now, is that you have an actor and you have a director and you have a company. Let's say you have the company. Then there's the play up here. And you almost view it, a lot of these artists had the same view. You almost view the play as the marriage. There's the husband, the wife, and then the marriage. And you're in service to the marriage. And for me, that really resonated because this theater life is not for me. And it's not for your resume, and it's not so that I can be rich. It's in service to something bigger than all of us. And so that, again, that's that religious feeling. It does feel like the play you're working on is a higher power. And a lot of it was sort of an innate philosophy that a lot of the downtown artists had back then. So, and of course they had egos too.
But, who is the most snobby, snooty, egotistical? You can say.
I really shouldn't verbalize that.
Yeah, you should.
Well, I'll say Bob Wilson didn't get on the phone with me. He just wanted to talk online. So that was I was like, well, I'm approachable. I totally wouldn't have freaked him out, but he just wanted to talk online. So
all right. Well, I mean, did some just want to answer questions by email and not
just him?
Okay.
Everybody else talked to me in person. So it was during COVID. So I talked to them on the phone. I didn't want to talk to them on the phone, but a lot of these artists were in their 80s and some of them were in their 90s. And if I had gone to them, I didn't want to risk that. Lee Brewer has since passed away, and Richard Foreman died this year. Right. And I was able to interview them before they died. And so I didn't want to go in person and risk giving them COVID and killing them. So
that's good. Well, they died anyway, so wouldn't really have made that much of a difference. Did you ask Richard Foreman why his plays were so terrible? I was just.
You know what? That's what's amazing about. And I told him a story that the first Richard Foreman play I saw, I went with a guy I was dating at the time, and I think it might have broken us up because he hated it so much.
All
And
right.
he and I didn't. I actually found it very intriguing. I didn't understand it, but I had never seen anything like that. I have since become a gigantic fan of Foreman's. It
Really?
Yeah, I think that it takes time, and it takes a recalibration of time in your brain. It's almost like viewing your own dreams or
All right.
somebody else's. I think Foreman is the genius of our time, and he should be celebrated as a national treasure, and he's not, which is unfortunate. But at the time, I didn't understand it, and my boyfriend at the time was like, "We have nothing in common now."
Oh my God! No, theater has broken up a few of the relationships of the person who produces the show. I can tell you that. But what about the Worcester Group people? Did you talk to Vaughn or LeCompte or any of
I
those?
worked there. I worked at the Wooster Group for a year. My husband worked there for I think 8 years. And I met my husband. I was an intern, and I'm telling you this now as a 2025 Me Too champion. I was an intern at the Wooster Group, and I started dating my husband there, like kind of secretly before you would get in trouble for that.
Oh,
And we sort of fell in love at the performing garage, and we toured the world, and we're married now and have 2 kids. So I attribute my whole life to the Wooster Group.
oh my! So what shows were you working on at that point? Which ones were they doing?
The one that I was there for was the one my husband video designed, Richard Burton's Hamlet, and Reed had designed the video to erase characters. He did something called rotoscoping, and he erased characters out of Hamlet, and then their company would perform in front of the rotoscoped video. It was beautiful. I got to tour to the Pompidou Center in Paris, and we went to I can't remember the name of the theater in Amsterdam. I just toured the world, and I was in love with this guy. It was one of the best stretches of years I've ever had. And I was just like a stage door Johnny. I was just an intern. I had no real, I was like 24, 25.
So you've been married for about 20 years now
Well,
to
we've been together for 20 years, but we've been married. We're in our 15th year, yeah, of marriage.
Basil McGlick.
Yeah.
So does it work? I mean, with you home all the time, he's out there design at the physical museum. So you have your time and well,
Sometimes, yes,
yes.
sometimes he's home a little bit, and sometimes he has to be on site for events and stuff. So
Cool. So what makes it work? Two artists, two creative people. How do you not butt heads?
we talk about this a lot. Uniquely, our love language is this. And
Oh, it's theater. Yeah.
yeah. And we make theater together. We came together through the theater. We understand the same weird shit. We love the same weird shit. We love the same theater artists. It is a form of intimacy that I am so lucky to have with someone else. And I would say that's the one thing we never argue about. It's the one thing we love together. It's like a third child, our theater
So he
practice.
doesn't hate Richard Foreman. He
Oh
can.
my God, no.
Okay.
He loves Foreman. He understood Foreman before I did. And he knew him. He worked a little bit
Oh,
fringily with him. But a lot of my friends worked with Foreman. I didn't, but I saw so much. And I know he's difficult. I wish I could teach him in some ways. Because I think once you unlock the Formaniness in your own brain, it's easier. Because it took me years. I
years. Oh my God. Yeah. All right.
hated him. I hated. I was
Listen,
like,
this
yeah,
this goes back to the thing of like when you don't understand something, it's not like, well, let me
yeah,
look at the Google Wikipedia listing on this and see if I like. No, you're like, I'm going to take a few months and
yeah,
immerse myself in something I hate, and then come
yeah.
out the other side and maybe like
I
it.
I
Yeah.
have I have who am I? I mean, he's been around since the 60s. He must be doing something, and I must know what that is. I think my curiosity has driven everything for me. So,
Now I am a bit curious. You mentioned the whole Me Too
yeah.
movement thing, which you're very strong about. You're very into, and there's a thing. Speaking of Wikipedia, where you helped, along with a bunch of other people, bring down what you might call a predator. So feel free. Who, and what, and how, and etc.
Can I tell that story?
Oh, please do with
Okay.
graphic images too. Yeah.
Really? Okay. I was 23 or 24, and I was oddly very successful as a voice actor. This is like 23 years ago. And I had an agent right away. I was booking jobs. It's very unusual for that to happen to someone in the commercial world right away, but it was happening for me. And I was told to train with this guy, Peter Roffet. And he was very expensive. He was like $300 a session. I borrowed money from my family. Yeah, really, really well respected in the world. He was like the Harvey Weinstein of voice coaching, really. And I went to 3 sessions, and on the third session, he locked me in his sound booth and he masturbated.
Whoa!
And,
Oh, oh, yeah.
and he finished, and he had me take off my shirt, and he had me. It was an assault, basically. I won't get into every detail, but once he was done pleasuring himself, he told me never to speak of it again. He unlocked the booth and he let me go. And I remember at the time making 2 promises to myself. I'm never going to tell a single person that this ever happened. And the reason why is because I'm sure I caused this. I'm sure.
Okay.
And so I know it's crazy, but at the time I was like, that had never happened to me before. And I was so new to the business that I was like, I guess maybe this is common and I caused this. So fast forward to Rose McGowan talking about Harvey Weinstein, a similar situation. I read her account. This is now 15 years later. I read her account in the New Yorker, and all that memory started flooding back. And I didn't tell anyone. I still hadn't told anyone. So I reached out, managed to find 9 other women that this had happened to. I did it through a Facebook messaging system we had. And then from there, we told a reporter at CNN, and her name was Bryn Gringis, and she, Gingras, I'm mispronouncing her name. She wrote a feature on us. At that point, we had grown to 16, and the feature came out, and his life was destroyed, ruined. And from there, once CNN got the story, the guy who brought Weinstein in, his name is Nick DeGaudio. He was the detective on the Weinstein case at the NYPD. He took on our case, and he found that Rofé had raped 3 women. Yeah. So in the same way that he locked me, he did the same thing. So those women completely understandably didn't want to come out. And so we were unable to criminally prosecute him. However, we were able to take him to civil court, and he lost his business and his reputation. And, he lives happily with his wife, same wife now, but he sexually assaulted 60 women. And it's one of my proudest moments, being able to talk about it freely, being able to come out about it, being able to take away from him. I lost my voice acting career from that completely. So I'm back now. I've returned.
Wait. Because nobody would hire you because you were making trouble? Why did your voice career go down?
After the assault, I couldn't book a job. I was so rattled from the
Okay, got it. Yeah. I thought it was external factors, but you just were like, I get you. You want to go into a booth. Yeah,
I would go into a booth and I would suck and I would get nervous, and
Well, at least you didn't have to suck when you went into a booth. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I had to say that.
Right, listen, we're of the tribe. You have to make a joke out of horror.
You have to. It's amazing. You're partly Jewish, and we haven't even talked about the Holocaust yet. How did we avoid this whole time? But I'm glad that you spoke up.
And now I've returned since coming out over the years. I've returned to voice acting. I got an agent again. I've done commercials again. I do voiceover and audio. It was my original calling. That's what I was originally supposed to do. And theater acting and playwriting, but he took that away from me psychologically.
Got it. Yeah.
He did that to 60. He ruined the careers of all these amazing women, and he deserves to be in prison, but he isn't. So.
Maybe there'll be a place in Trump's cabinet for him. You never know.
I'm sure, yeah. And then in prison together, maybe.
Now, speaking of politics, you do have defined yourself as a very, very left-wing kind of person and stuff like that. How are you getting through the last 5 or 6 months or so?
You know what? I either vacillate toward this is just an extinction burst, like our country has to go through this, just like Spain did. I guess just like, I don't know, Germany did. They all went through a fascist explosion, and then they got to democracy again. Maybe that's what's happening here, and we're going to get through this. I think of Spain a lot because after Franco died, they went to democracy like pretty quickly. He was dictator for like 40 years. So maybe that's my optimistic take. But the other take is I am living in the upside down, as my husband said the other day. We all are. I can't believe that it doesn't matter if I'm left wing. This is just cruelty. How can, I mean, the similarities between now and, speaking of the Holocaust, everything is in line. How can they? And then I was sure the Epstein thing would take them down. Maybe it will.
when he's 87. On his deathbed, they'll say, okay, we're going to arrest you now. They go, yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'll get to go to retirement or something. But I don't know. I mean, I live in a constant state of just bewilderment. I'm sure you do too.
But, well, I'm probably not as, look at me, I'm probably not quite as left as you are. Not to mention I am a staunch Zionist. I don't even want to talk with you about that because I'm guessing that you're probably...
No, I spent a long time in Israel. I was in Israel for, in college, I did this scholarship it was an archaeology trip through the religion department. And I was in Jerusalem and Eilat, and I went to Jordan. We went to, we went to Tel Aviv. It was awesome. And so I very much value that time. It was so important to me. And I have family in Tel Aviv still.
Oh, so what's your happiest memory of all those places? You know, you spent a lot of time in Eilat, you spent Jerusalem, so one great memory of Eretz Yisrael.
I climbed Mount Masada on foot, and I stood at the edge. And I don't know if you've been to Mount Masada, but
no, I haven't mounted anyone in a long time. Yes,
there's a oh God, give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
1, 2,
God, count to
3, 4. All right, you're wasting my time now. What's going on here? Here we go.
On Mount Masada, you can stand at the very top and you look out onto the desert, and it's like being on another planet. It's like being on Mars, and you can see this turquoise. Is it the Red Sea or the Med Sea? I can never remember which one it is. It's turquoise. It must be the Med Sea.
All right.
And we had a tour guide with us, and he was talking us through what happened on the top of Mount Masada, where the fathers, rather than be killed by the Romans anyway, who were coming, they took it upon themselves to kill their own families. Yeah. And he told us all that, and that happened here, and this happened here. And I remember it was like I lost my sense of time and self. It was so cool. It was so time travel-y and spiritual. And so, yeah, the top of, and having climbed to the top too was exhausting. And I was only 19. I think I was 19. No, I was 20. Was I 20 or 19? I can't remember. But
I couldn't. This is only a question that you can answer because I don't know. You can answer that one. But it sounds. I got chills. I go look. The fringes of my tallis are shaking.
Look at that.
All right, I have a couple of quick questions for you. We have just a couple more minutes here with SARA Farrington, but okay, get ready. What was the name of Homer Simpson's barbershop quartet?
The B Sharps.
Yes! Very good. What is the name of Springfield's motel?
Fuck.
No, that's not it.
Okay, give me the next one because I know what that one is.
We'll come back to that one. We have just, or you need silence.
I'm a Simpsons expert, and I didn't know this was coming, and I should have refreshed my Simpsons mind.
Sure.
The hotel, I can see the sign in my mind's eye. But go ahead, go to the next one.
All right. What is the name of Mr. Burns's teddy bear?
Bobo.
Yes, yeah, all right, very good. And what quote did Homer have in his high school yearbook?
I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Whoa. All right, so let's get back to the Springfield Motel.
I can see it because there's one letter kind of flickering in. I don't think I'm going to.
I'll give you a clue. It might be the last letter of the alphabet. Okay, I mean.
Sleazy? Does it have sleazy in it?
Close. I mean, you're very into you're near. I'll give you a half.
I don't think I'm going to. You have to give me some of it.
It's the Sleep Easy Motel.
Sleep Easy Motel. Okay, yeah. I knew it was like sleep. And then the thing is missing, so it says sleazy.
Oh, so that's how they did sleazy. So,
I got that one right.
Three quarters. Come on. I'm giving you a hint. But 3 3/4 out of 4. You are still. So here's the deal. The Simpsons has been on for what, 35 years now?
Yeah, more than that. Yeah.
So do you know like the first 20 years and then the past 15? Or are you really?
I can do seasons 1 through 10. After 10. It becomes Zombie Simpsons. Do you know about Zombie Simpsons?
No, I honestly don't know what.
The writers, there's a documentary about it on YouTube. The writers changed, and so it looks like The Simpsons, but it's just broad comedy now. And instead of being a cutting-edge commentary on American society, it's now of American society. It's celebrity culture. So I think I know exactly the episode where they jump the shark too. But I think
No, what was the episode where, in your opinion, I think The Simpsons can still be very good, not that I've seen it in the past 20 years, but what episode did they kind of?
Yeah, there's an episode where Homer becomes Kim Basinger and Alec Baldwin's personal assistant in season 10, and it's so laden with celebrity references and snooty, like, these muffins came from the Gersh agency. Like, only people in the know what the Gersh.
That's it. No, that's it. I remember that moment. That's hysterical. The idea of where are those muffins now? Oh, Gersh agency. I quote that. I love that.
Some people think that the episode where they jump the shark is The Principal and the Pauper, but I disagree with that, because in The Principal and the Pauper, they take away Skinner's identity and they give him Armin Tanzarian's identity, which they then do a much later in the series. But that was the first time they said, oh, the backstory you think you know to The Simpsons, it's not real. It's not real. And people think that. I thought that was funny because it was a subtle adaptation of Catch-22 with what's his name? Armin Yossarian.
Yeah.
It's got some, it's sort of brainy like that. And I liked that story. And I also liked how everybody was in on it. I think it's actually quite a brilliant episode, but a lot of Simpsons fans disagree with me. Wow. So that's season 8. That's season 8.
So well, that's early for jumping. So do you even still watch The Simpsons, but you kind of don't bother to memorize it, or you kind of not being...
My kids watch the new ones, and they swear by them. But I can't bear to watch the new ones, but I will go back and watch the old ones. My husband says I listen to them like music. Like the scripts to The Simpsons it's every moment in The Simpsons in that
era. Yeah.
Is a joke. Every line is a joke. And that's so rare. Not only is it a joke, but some of them are jokes within jokes. And the scripts themselves sound like songs to me. So
can I ask you, what is your favorite play of all?
I was going to say my favorite Simpson.
Oh, no, who's your favorite Simpson? My
favorite Simpsons episode.
Yeah. Is?
As a rabbi, Bart sells his soul.
Is this with Krustovsky? Is Krusty in there, or is this a whole different one? No. Okay.
I know the ones that you're referring to, but this is Bart sells his soul. He sells his soul to Milhouse, and what the repercussions of selling his soul mean. It is such a good episode. I know every word to it.
Wow. Now I'm going to go to, since you love that kind of intricacy and of comedy of wordplay, I'm just wondering what your favorite play is.
My favorite play. I know this is sort of a generic answer, but I think the perfect play is A Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, okay. What makes it more perfect than Death of a Salesman or Futz or whatever?
Death of a Salesman is also really good, but I can't. Tennessee Williams, there will never be anyone, and nor has there ever been anyone. That play is, it's just, I just saw it the other day. I saw it at BAM again. It is so, the characters are so, instead of the characters talking, they are, and they embody, and they don't monologue. They do, but it's all from these really staunch, fierce, desired people. They all want something so fiercely, and they're all lying to themselves. It is such a perfect play. It kills me, that play. It really does. So I think that might be, I don't know if is it my favorite play, or is it the perfect play? I don't know.
There's obviously another play rattling around in your head right now that says, I'm the play that you really like. Streetcar Named Desire is genius, but give or take, I think I read it.
The play that I really like. Oh my God. I didn't know you were going to ask this.
I didn't know I was going to ask it, but I'm asking it. Yeah.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to go on record and say that the play that I love the most is Streetcar Named Desire, because it checks all my boxes. It moves me too.
Yeah. And also, you being a Me Too person, it's a very Me Too-ish kind of, cautionary tale. Yeah.
I also, and this is also a very generic answer, I also think Long Day's Journey into Night is the perfect play as well.
That's pretty. Right. Even the scene with the maid in the kitchen.
There's a lot of O'Neillian talk in there, and there's a lot of sort of heavy-handed exposition. It sounds heavy-handed to us. Back then, it wasn't. It was very natural back then because it was new. But that might be up there too.
Have you ever played Mary Tyrone? Did you ever get a chance?
No.
I mean, no, I mean, in scene work or in the
Oh, and
conservative.
scene work. No, but I did take a class, a playwriting class in his house.
Oh, right, from the O'Neill Center. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, I actually went to Connecticut College, which is
Oh,
down the street. Yeah. And we there was a playwriting seminar I would take once a week in O'Neill's living room. It was amazing. It was like ghostly. And they have Colleen Dewhurst's costume. She played, I think she played Jose Quintero's version of Mary Tyrone, but they have her costume on a mannequin at the window. And so it looks like there's someone standing in the window, like looking out onto the bay.
whoa. I always thought the funniest thing about that is that, oh, he was so lonely, he was so miserable, he was such a lousy, and his father was so cheap in real life, the O'Neill. And when he bought this place and came, meanwhile, now anybody going to that place, any going to that, what a charming little house. Oh, I hope it's under 2 million. It's like, I would buy it as heartbeat. It's gorgeous,
I know. And not only that, but when you drive, New London used to be like a resort. It used to be where like the rich would go to hang, like it would be like Martha's Vineyard kind of. But now when you look across the bay, you see like Pfizer and stuff. It's so weird. You see like towering factories and Groton, of course, has a lot of it. It's very industrial now, but the house is still maintained as like almost a museum to O'Neill. So
we have been talking with SARA FARRINGTON, ladies and gentlemen. We want to remind you that her adaptation of Euripides is The Trojan Women. She narrows it down. She makes it a Trojan woman that is playing this weekend at the Powerhouse Theater in Vassar. And you can find out more about her and all the plays she's written. In fact, we have one more question about that. LadyFarrington.com. That's 2 R's in Farrington, LadyFarrington.com. So, last question to you, and this is really not fair, but what is your favorite play of your own?
am I allowed to say the new thing that I wrote?
Well, yeah, everybody says, oh, the thing I'm working on now. Yeah, go ahead.
Right now, I wrote a musical from, it's my first musical. We just did a first reading last night with our company, which is so awesome. But I got the rights to adapt a documentary called Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. It's a long title. That's the documentary, made in 2014. It's the story of why the 1996 Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, Dr. Moreau movie is so unwatchable. So I got the rights to do whatever I want with it, which is unbelievable. So this year, I've basically turned it into a musical, and it is, talk about, I actually think my Simpsons awareness has fueled into this script because every line is funny. Every line.
Oh, cool. Oh, all right. But are you the songwriter as well, or do you have people that you're working with? It's a musical, you said.
Yeah. I wrote the book, and I'm the lyrical Sondheim in this particular job. But I wrote the book, the scripts, and the lyrics, and we have a composer named David Van Tighem. He's one of the guys.
Yeah, he's a rather well-known downtown music artist for the last 50 years. Yes, David Van. Wow.
I'm thrilled that he wants to do it. He's actually playing Dr. Uncanny. Dr. Uncanny is a fictional public access host that I invented, who kind of is the narrator. So my husband actually came up with that brilliant idea. We work very close, and he's directing it. He's kind of conceived it with me. So
you've had a reading, and then you're going to get some development of it, or not going to work on reading more in October. Yeah. Where do you see it, developing beyond that? I
know this sounds crazy, but I'm manifesting this one visually in my mind.
Hold my hands. Hold my hands. I'll make it happen. There we go. And you're manifesting what?
I want this one to be the one of mine that opens on Broadway.
How have I?
I never had a play on Broadway, obviously, but I think this one, the way that I summoned all my powers for this one. So
I always thought my one-man show would open on Broadway too, but it would be at Papaya King. Didn't quite happen. Sorry. Still hoping to revive it though.
It's specific.
We have been talking with the lovely and delightful SARA FARRINGTON. We thank you. We wish you much, much good health, good mazel. Good luck with the Dr. Moreau piece. Certainly continued great luck with A Trojan Woman, which, again, it sounds like a laugh and a half. It really, but important for these times. Oh, please. Published by whom? Who's the...
Broadway Play Publishing. Yeah, they publish new plays, so...
Oh, and I guess we also have to then mention who's publishing another play of yours called Leisure, Labor, Lust. You had me on the last one. So where's that? When and where and who's coming out with that?
That is coming out on October 1st, and I can't believe someone's publishing it because it's very strangely written. It's a very twisty narrative, but it's coming out at Next Stage Press. It's like a boutique publisher. So that one's coming out. That one I am deeply proud of that one. It's so meaningful to me that someone saw enough beauty in it to publish it, because I think it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever written. So.
Oh, you said it was about turn of the century New York, but three different. Is it like an omnibus thing of three different stories or something?
No, kind of. I took Edith Wharton's Uptown World, and I took Jacob Riis's Downtown World of New York, and I invented some characters out of that, and they all work similar to sort of a Downton Abbey vibe. They all work in this one house, and it's very inspired by Edith Wharton. Edith Wharton had an affair with a bisexual man.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you know that. Yeah, and so I fell in love with that story. And I was like, this, and he was much younger than her. She was like 20 years, I think 15 years older than him. And her husband was mentally ill during that time. So we performed it at Edith Wharton's house, actually, twice. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I gotta write a play about a very, very, very rich person, so I can just perform it at his house and use their pool.
She wasn't around to see it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. SARA Farrington, thank you so much. And of course, the most important thing, shalom to you.
Shalom. Thank you, Mazel. Awesome.